I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Veterans Committee, 6:15 in the Nauset Room on May 26th. In attendance, we have Andrew Delory, John Fuller, Kevin Higgins, Michael is in our audience, our liaison, and we have a representative from the 501c3 as well as Tom Blute, and we'll get rolling.
Russ Kleekamp.
Oh, and
Yeah, Russ
Kleekamp is in the ether world. Hello, Russ.
And I think Marty may be zooming in too.
Can you hear us,
Hello.
Russ?
There he is.
Hello, Russ.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks, Russ, for zooming in.
So calling the meeting to order, the first item will be public speak. If we have anyone or anything that would like to be brought up for public speak?
I don't see any hands online.
No hands, okay. Just a quick follow-up for our Memorial Day service. Just gonna kinda, I don't really have a hard and fast plan for that, just I was hoping we could, it just happened yesterday. Members of our committee, if we have any items or anything that we'd like to discuss. John?
My wife was looking at social media. I didn't because I don't participate in that. And there were several very favorable comments on how the whole program went.
I will concur. I did hear a lot of positives afterwards, both with the look of the park, how it all came together. Obviously, we have a couple of little hiccups we got to work on. We got to get that sound system squared away, but I think our sound system situation was more impeded by the fact that Steve was unable to be there for our event, and Kevin ended up picking up the loose pieces, so to speak. But it went off without a hitch, and a lot of positive feedback. I got two emails about our keynote speaker.
Yeah,
Great job, Russ.
excellent.
And so,
Chair?
yes.
Yeah, I had a suggestion about placement of the honor guard. I thought that they should have been where I was, where I performed Amazing Grace, at that position, front and center. I thought they were kind of hidden behind the, with respect for the Nauset.
Well, I think, well, again, we can work on things going forward, but my thought on it was the honor guard is always kind of behind everyone and is present. So having them up against the stone sitting wall was kind of an idea, and I wanted to put the band front and center, right in the middle. I want to highlight the kids and their involvement with our military. I will say that they were a little shocked when I brought them forward and put them out there. I think they were like, "Oh, we don't." But I think it was good to have them there so the audience could see them, as opposed to kind of hidden in behind everyone.
Yeah, I was wondering if the flags were, maybe obscured by.
They were.
course.
When you're standing in the park alone and you're looking at the rock wall or the seating wall, and the flags were very prominent, but they did get a little bit lost with, that's something we can work on as we
Fine.
go forward, so.
Was my only comment.
John, do you want to, you had mentioned earlier about thank yous. Do you want to make a
Yeah,
motion?
I think we need to do the thank yous, especially for Russ and the school. But I think it should go to the principal, not to the music teacher, because she did an outstanding job, and I think the principal should know that. And his kids donating time that they normally would have to themselves.
So I don't think,
I think that's important, and it should come from, not from the committee, but from the town of Orleans.
okay. I don't think we need to have a motion on that. I think we can just say we'll move forward with that, and I can possibly ask. I could actually pen the letter and then see if the select board would like to sign it. Yes, Brian?
Thank you. Just two quick things. I don't want to delay your agenda, but just to add, the calls I get or the emails were just all positive. How nice the park looked, the program was great. So I'm pleased. That made everything really, I thought, went well. It's nice to just kind of take it all in. I guess I would say to start your meeting, I just want to thank the town, I guess, letting us get what was another like 400 bricks in the park before, ahead of Memorial Day. So DPW allowed us to work that in. We hired the vendor to come back, and that was huge because we had all the orders pending from October. So people were pretty happy to see that we were able to start the base of the World War II. So thank you for letting us get in there and do that.
Yeah, we did have a little back and forth with the DPW. We wanted to make sure that if we opened the park up and pulled some bricks, we didn't want to do it haphazardly and just one or two at a time. We wanted to make sure that we had a large number at a time. So kind of the running agreement that Rich and I have had and Calvin is that about a month prior to both Veterans Day and a month prior to Memorial Day, we can see if we can get Caliban or any kind of stone workman to bring workers in to install the brick that we may get. Traditionally, what's happened, and well, when I say traditionally, ever since we've started doing the bricks, there's a little rush of people wanting to purchase bricks following the service because they see it. So I'm sure there's going to be, and I think Katie's already mentioned that you had some new requests or new brick applications. So there'll be a little flurry of activity, I'm sure, and then maybe when we have some of our functions, I might also generate some interest in regards to purchasing laser edge bricks. So, okay, any more discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll move on. The next item on the agenda is to update the group on the Indigenous Memorial. The week of May 11th, Tom was able to, I think it was Wednesday, wasn't it, Tom? The 11th, 12th, 13th, I think. I know, everything's been a blur for you in the last month. Tom was able to get down there, get the foundation cut into the grounds. Only had one, I think, irrigation line that had to be moved a little bit, but it was taken care of. And then the Indigenous marker was installed. Thank you. And I know that the next step will be for the dedication for the Indigenous marker, and there's been some discussion going about. I may have missed one of the emails in regards to actually locking it in on June 20th. Is that correct, Gail? June 20th? I think the original request was to possibly have it on Memorial Day, but I think we had bumped it, and I didn't see an update after that. So 6/20 is when they're doing the, down at the farmer's market?
There are two things. The dancers are going to be at the farmer's market from 11 to 11:45, and then some of them are going to come down to the park, I hope. And, I mean, I know they are if you voted, planning a ceremony there.
Okay.
Robert is coming, and Robert's going to explain the, what it means, because that's at the park on Monday. I had several people come up to me and ask me to explain what the different colors were. I just did a complete blank, so.
Okay, so they're going to be at the farmer's market from 11 to 11:45, and then they're planning on coming down. Are they looking at possibly noon on that date?
Are they doing what?
Noon on the 20th? If
Yes.
farmer's market's till 11:45, then they'll go from there right down to the park?
From there, this is what Jamie Dimitri's been working on, but she's gonna put it on with the town of Orleans on it.
Okay,
You wanna keep that?
yeah, if you don't mind. I'll show it to my other, got it on here at 12:30.
Yeah, I have 12:30 in my notes.
12:30, yeah. Okay, yes, John.
Then I will make a motion to move the dedication date that we voted on, Indigenous Peoples' Day, to June 20th, 2026.
Second?
Have you been sworn in yet?
No.
You'll have to say.
Okay,
Seconded.
okay, let me just get this written down.
It's okay, Cecil.
We love your drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Initiative.
Okay, the motion on the table for making June 20th the dedication at the park for the Indigenous marker for 12:30 has been made by John Fuller and seconded by Andrew Delory. All those in favor signify by saying aye by roll call. Andrew Delory,
Aye.
John Fuller,
Hi, John Fuller.
aye, Kevin Higgins. And we don't, obviously Dave's not dialed in, so, okay.
So we have a quorum.
Any more discussion on the Indigenous marker? I know that we're just kind of allocating the day, but is there anything that you would like to bring to our committee's attention as to what that day,
Well,
you know?
you very kindly introduced me to, it was Kevin, I think.
Yes, Kevin Shanley.
You're gonna have to come up to the.
Yeah, if you could, you know, we gotta make sure that we have all the recordings and everything.
We haven't worked out the sound system yet. I'm Gail Myers-Lavin, sorry. I spoke to Kevin, thanks to you for introducing me, Kevin. And unfortunately, they've got 5 other engagements that day, so that they can't do anything. But Lower Cape TV is going to do the sound system at the market.
Okay,
And so the hope is, I've been going back and forth with Anna, and she said that she thinks, she can fit that in.
well, I've got a little bit of a workaround for you if you're interested. Were you with us at the Cove when we did our dedication yesterday?
Never
Okay.
made it there.
We have a small speaker that we use from the police department, and I still have a little pull with the police department, so I might be able to borrow that PA system.
Oh, that would be
which
great,
is-
because it's not.
pretty
This
robust.
is going to be, a speaker coming up, and like Meph Runyon said that he would like to open it. So Meph, as chair of the select board, is going to start. And we think we might ask the officials from the state. Hadley lives in Orleans, so they would get an invitation. Otherwise, we're just going to publicize it in the school and library posters. Jamie said that she would do it from the town. And I think that's about it. I have one question for Tom, though. Can I ask it now?
Sure.
It's the logo, as you know, Robert's logo.
Signature.
Yeah, signature. It's got to be there by the 20th.
Yeah, it will be there.
Okay, fine. You didn't
Just
say
need-
yes.
No, I just need him to give me his actual
Yeah,
signature.
I
I'll
know.
get that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be
Thank
fine.
you so much.
No, it'll be fine.
Otherwise, we've had nothing but wonderful praise for people that have gone down to look at it and to the whole park. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, well,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Ann. Well, thanks to everyone that's contributed. So we'll think that Lower Cape TV may segue from the farmer's market down to Veterans Memorial Park for the continuation. They'll have time, if they go till 11:45.
They can.
Okay,
But we won't need that much down there. That's big stuff, that's like walking around with microphones and
right.
people dancing, so, but I think yours might work, which would be wonderful.
Okay, well, we'll have that for Plan B. If Plan A doesn't come through, I'll have it with me for that day. Okay, Tom, do you have anything you'd like to add about the Indigenous marker? I mean, I don't, I'm just offering the floor to you if,
No, as long as everybody likes it.
I've heard nothing but positive.
I know how important it was to kick off the
Yeah.
monument, so.
No, absolutely. I
as
think,
Everybody likes it.
I think the location was perfect. It's right where, anybody that's parking there by Academy Place, if they walk in, it follows the flow of the sidewalk, and the angled bit, I think, is great because you can read it no matter which side of the sidewalk you're on. So I think it's great.
Chair, related to that, will we ever consider a marker recognition of the Nossets? That was something that was raised many meetings ago, and I wondered if that was going to be considered going forward.
We could certainly make it a agenda item to discuss, but are you looking for a second Indigenous marker at the park?
Yeah, I recall, my memory serves me correctly, you did suggest that we might have some recognition of local tribes, Nauset being the primary people who lived here.
I want to say the November meeting, we discussed possibly having markers in there that would indicate the individual tribes within Orleans, like the Port Nimiquet, Namaquoit, Cascayo-Gansett,
Right.
et cetera. But I think we more or less tabled in favor of the single indigenous marker. It doesn't mean we can't do something like that, but maybe something we can address down the road. I would just say we've got bigger,
Well, in the meantime, yes.
I wouldn't say bigger fish to tackle, but we've got a few things we really got to get in place, and possibly that's something we can work with the 501c3 down the road. So, okay.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next agenda item, I'm going to have to slide up to the laptop. This is going to be the update, the group in regards to the latest information to the Korean War bronze plate and granite block drawings, discussion on the final design with Tom Blute. Just so it's recorded and it's all on file, we originally were looking at the soldiers walking out of the Chosin Reservoir, which is, it's hard to, I'll have to blow it up to take a look at. But we had a little bit of a monkey wrench in regards to getting the permission, trademark, to use that because it was actually owned by the post office. At least initially, that's what we thought. And through Tom and Janet Auer, they found out that the image was actually on file in New Mexico. So Janet spent,
6 hours.
she spent a lot of time. She was able to get that image okayed, and we can have that for our bronze monument. Now, what happened in between when we were told that the post office needed to have the copyright request, I had to sign the paperwork, we sent it off, we got the, it went off, and we were told that it would take up to 20 to 30 days before the post office actually went through their legal files or their legal team to get the permission to use the image. We decided we would try to go with Plan B, and that would be to go with our local artist, Dan Joy. So I spoke with Dan, showed him the image, this image of the Chosin Reservoir, and asked him if he could recreate something similar to, but unique to, the same image. And as such, he came up with these images, which more or less portrays the same idea. It's no man left behind or no one left behind. It's two soldiers cradling a wounded soldier and with a helicopter in the mountains. I asked Dan about the significance of the three soldiers, and he said that the center soldier, you'll notice, his jacket is a different color. It's more or less to represent a cross, so a religious cross where the two soldiers are assisting the wounded comrade to the helicopter. But Dan, knowing Dan, he came up with several others. Now, this is one as well. Of course, they're smoking, so we don't necessarily want to promote that, but this is one image he came up with. This is another
18 cents a bag.
another image of soldiers carrying a wounded soldier to the helicopter, to Medivac. We have these soldiers. This is more of just a simple pen drawing. And again, the idea was that possibly if we did not get the permission from the post office and or get the image back from the central repository, that we would fall back on some of these images. Well, as I said, since then, we have gotten the okay for the original Chosin Reservoir. This is the same idea. The center soldier represents a cross, and then the two soldiers assisting him to the helicopter. So now that we've got the permission to use the Chosin Reservoir, my question to our committee is, which image are we going to use for the bronze plate? After I got the word from Tom that we got the okay for this image, I went back to Dan and asked him if he could somehow, even though we've got this, if he could somehow make this unique and his own beyond what he had already sent us. And he basically said that if this is the image you like, then just use it. He was not too keen on trying to trace something or copy something to make it unique. He said basically this image here would be his interpretation of those soldiers coming out of the Chosin Reservoir. The soldiers are carrying the wounded and to the helicopter in the distance, and you can see the mountains. So, shall we have a discussion prior to? I know I've sent all these images out to everybody, so everyone's had a chance to look at them. How do we want to go forward with this? Do we? Yes, John?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Tom what he thinks, which design would best fit on the memorial.
Do you want to come up?
Well, being a focal point, it's always easiest to take a picture, start with a photograph. So for ease, it certainly would be, and we do have permission, and they will send us a photograph. I think the committee or the subcommittee or interested members, we kind of started with this and we worked around it. And although I think having a local resident, a local artist, a very talented person who's willing to put something forth, I think that's incredible and unique and it brings the home spirit. I also think that this being a postage stamp and going way back, into the 80s, and I don't know, it serves kind of as a national treasure having this actual photograph. So the detail won't be that great no matter which one you choose, but from a fabricating point of view, it's always easier to use a photograph.
Thank you.
Okay, with that being said, shall we have any more discussion on this, or should we have a motion, or what's the thought process of our committee? Yes, Andrew?
As a trained artist, and without bias from my dear friend Dan Joy, I think that the first rendering of it has a lot of depth. I think has more emotional impact. It's in my mind stronger, and I think technically that either you have, you would need to photograph the drawing. I think is part of the step. So I'm not sure that that's an advantage, but I would support Dan Joy's the first image you presented.
Is that the one right there?
Yeah, that's it. Well, there's two. There's this one, which was the first that
There's two versions.
he recommended, and then there was this version as well. Both of them, he's taken liberty to add the helicopter in the background.
I think the first version is more powerful. I think the Radio Man, maybe as a veteran in the field, the Radio Man is important, but maybe he's dominating that image.
Personally, I and this is just my point of view, I mean, we've all spoken now in regards to what our thoughts were. I was caught by this one because, for a couple of reasons. One, it shows the resiliency of the Marines coming out of Chosin, but it also shows the leader of the group, whether he is a sergeant or squad leader or whoever it may be, is looking back to his squad members to make sure they're okay coming out. I like this. I think it's powerful. I'm not taking away from Dan Joy's either, but personally, I'm kind of drawn to this. And it was originally our first thought until Dan came forward. Now, I could play both sides of the coin on this. I kind of like the idea of having Dan Joy's involvement because he's a local artist and it'll be there forever. But again, I can't make a unilateral decision without the committee, so I think between these two images, this one and this one, as Andrew has indicated, kind of the radio men's up front there. Of course, I know the radio men were important, but it almost is kind of almost in-your-face type thing. So of these two images, I think we should be solely looking at Dan's original, which has got the circle like this, with the helicopter in the distance, or we go with the Chosin Reservoir.
I think the message of no one left behind adds power to that image.
Can I say something?
Sure.
We have a lot of wars that we need to have monuments for. Sitting here, I can envision this could be the global war on terror, Iraq, Afghanistan, Operation Epic Fury. I don't know if anybody else sees that, but the stories that come out of Afghanistan and Iraq about no man left behind. I mean, there was a Medal of Honor. There was a special on NBC the other night about Captain Swenson, who saved I don't know how many men, and he kept going, and women, and going back into combat. So I think there's going to be opportunity for Dan Joy, because we have like a whole backlog of monuments.
Oh, and we have two more monuments that have to be created, absolutely. Well, point well taken. John,
Do you want me to make the motion?
would you like to make a motion?
I hardly ever do that.
Yeah.
I would move that we take the image of Chosin Reservoir postage stamp and use that for the bronze plaque.
I will second it. Okay, discussion. Any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry, Cecil.
I haven't, being a former Marine, I don't want to take anything away from the Marines here, but I think you need to involve all the services.
Well, yes,
And that's just the Marines coming out of the Chosin Reservoir.
100%, but, I don't think you were at some of the earlier meetings we were at. This is only the center of the bronze plaque. The periphery of the bronze plaque is going to incorporate the Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, Army, and they're going to be kind of in a collage on the outside edges, but
Just
faded.
Just their plaques, you mean?
Yeah, and they're going to be faded. So in essence, having the Marines in the middle is bringing all 5 branches together, because the other branches are going to be represented as well. It's hard to represent the Marine Corps in regards to an individual organization, because they're similar to the Army. No offense, but the Marines are a division of the Navy, but yet you've got the Navy and the Marines, and this signifies the Marines that were on the ground as opposed to the Navy, and then the Coast Guard, and the Air Force, and the Army. And I think the Army, we're looking at a possible collage with an Army tank, or,
Yeah, so this, again, this came about because this was going to be the centerpiece. And when we decided to use the bronze, it's going to be, as Kevin said, in a collage form. I mean, you'll see paratroopers, you'll see helicopters, you'll see planes, you'll see ships, you'll see Coast Guard. We can tie in a MASH tent. I mean, it's 3 feet by 18 inches, so we have a lot of room. Basically, tonight, we're focusing on the centerpiece. I'm gonna go put it all together. We'll come back one last time, so I hope, and then we'll vote on that. So this is, because this is the focal point, that's what, you know, and since we worked so hard to get permission to use it, that's why I believe the committee's voting on this without saying, Tom, go design something, bring it back, and we'll vote on it. So just to keep you in the loop.
And I don't know if you'd seen some of those early pieces that had been shown, but the collage looks really cool. It's almost 3D, the way the images that surround the focal point. The focal point will be more pronounced, but the others will be kind of faded and in the background. Did you have a question, somebody had? Yes.
Just a comment when you had a chance to
Do-
work it into the use. I would defer to your committee, but I just wanted to comment.
Go ahead.
Obviously I've worked with and seen that postage stamp for a while. I'm glad it got approved. I have actually taken that image and blown it up into, and what's nice about it, which you really don't see here, or I think as you can appreciate it, there's a lot of depth to that image, and there's a really nice contrast to the foreground and the mountains in the back. I think that if Tom can work off of a photograph and make that even better, great. But, I'm not to speak for, but, we discussed it as you prepare this. We're prepared to fund that postage stamp and the images around it that Tom just addressed for the other pieces. So but I've seen that as an image, it's really nice and well done.
So I just have a quick question for Tom. You mentioned the photograph. That's the actual photograph that Janet was able to pull that she has?
They've offered to give it to us if we so choose to use it.
Okay, so you're not taking the image from the drawing. The image is actually from the photograph?
From the photograph.
Okay.
And there's
Tom, is there a
lot more depth to that photograph, but this is the most important part.
Is there a significant difference graphically between a photograph and a black and white, photograph and a black and white drawing?
Well, that's kind of a computer thing to scan it and run it through.
Sure.
Because that's, sorry, and I'm not a tech guy, but I know when we do laser etching, laser imagery, bronze imagery, they ask you to get the best photographs that you possibly can. So
With
that's,
respect, you can photograph anything.
oh, you can
and
take
reproduce
pictures
it.
of anything, you're right, and you can get good quality. So, again, whether we choose now or in the future, his artwork, that would be awesome. I think it should be incorporated any way you can do it, but it'd be nice to move forward, so.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll take a vote on this. All those in favor of utilizing the chosen reservoir image from the postage stamp signify by saying aye through roll call. John Fuller,
I, John Fuller.
Andrew Delory,
Nay.
Kevin Higgins, yes.
So it passes 2-1.
Correct. The significance of getting another member on the committee. Okay, so I think that what we should do, though, is we should continue possible communication with Dan, about some possible future ideas for future memorials as we go forward.
He may have some suggestions for the entrance monument,
Sure.
for example.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, all right. So that takes care of that. Discussion on the Vietnam Memorial concept with Tom Blute. As my other members have been told already, Andrew and I spent a little time today at Tom's shop. We discussed colors, materials, design, and we more or less narrowed a lot of stuff down for us to discuss tonight. And some of the first things, I have to go and get my other notes. One of the first things we thought we had to narrow down, or we had to bring to light, is the actual colors that we were talking. The three colors that we are basically looking at, they all, for the most part, take on a gray hue, but different tones of gray. The first is called a honed black, which I will bring up here. This is a black marker that, and Tom can discuss what it's, how he gets to that, but it's basically black granite, correct me if I'm wrong, black granite that is polished, but not, it's polished with a steel.
No, just let it go. It's honed.
Honed, I'm sorry.
Prior to the polish, it's a polishing technique but you stop just before you get that luster and you buff it and wax it. So it's if you were to feel it, it feels slick, it feels really smooth. I think we all touched it and kind of ran our fingers. So it's,
Actually,
it's not,
yeah, if you want to just have a seat up there, because I'm sure there's going to be some back and forth.
so it's, the thing about honing is, it's not polished, so you don't get a high luster. You get a matte finish, but you also, it's very dense, it's non-porous. I mean, it's several stages of polishing, like sanding wood. You start rough and you work your way down. So this is stopping just before the real polished, shiny, glossy look. But yeah, blown up like that looks pretty good. That's probably, what I say, 4 years old, and it's it's flat on the ground. So,
So lack of
again, it's kind of a,
lack of a better term, we just say it's more of like a flat gray.
yeah,
It
flat
doesn't
matte,
have a
almost
luster.
like a matte finish. Yes, there is no reflection, there's no luster on that.
The next image that we were looking at was basically the bar granite. Now, I didn't have an image of a bar granite gravestone, but we were lucky enough to have the bar granite at the park in regards to the benches. That's going to be the material that, this is polished, but this is the flat gray on the front. And I took the advantage of the sun today. This is a picture in bright, no, I'm sorry, that's angled. This is a picture of the bar granite with the engraving in bright sun. Very easy to read. Then I took it in the shadows. So even in the shadows, it's very easy to read. And that Vietnam Veterans Memorial will be in the shadow for the afternoons. And then this is mid-sun, so it's shining down on top across it. But again, very easy to read. Now, I wasn't really sure how my fear was that the World War II monument was also the gray granite, but the letters are hard to read, but I think that's more because of the size of the letters.
Size of the letter, the age of the monument, still legible, but certainly over a 60, 70, 80-year period, it's not going to stand out.
And then the third color was a gem mist. Is that correct? Okay. This is the gem mist, and this is, the letters are wet right now, but in the sun, when it's cut, the letters are, a lighter color gray, and the monument itself is speckled with gray in it, and it's mottled, and the mottling is easier to see if you look at the back. As Tom indicated, they look like clouds going across.
And that's a local granite to the states. That's Virginia, Pennsylvania down. That's where this is made. As is the Barry granite, comes from Vermont.
So the discussion was, we have these three items, we have these three stones, or these three monuments that have different colors, but they have different lettering. I mean, the color of the lettering. This is dark with white lettering. This is light with dark lettering. And then the honed is a flat gray with a lighter color. Now, Tom indicated that the reason it looks a little dirty is because that monument itself is actually horizontal on the ground. It's not vertical. So dirt and grass clippings, et cetera, land in the etching. But the lettering will be more of a light gray, correct, Tom?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And we use this a lot when people want that look of slate. But slate's just, it's so expensive, and it's very difficult to get good, large pieces of slate. So we use this honed black granite a lot in lieu of slate.
Okay, so discussion-wise, I think our committee needs to decide, which one we want to go with color-wise. And Tom can work with, the designs, which will be the next item that'll come up. But do we want to have the bar granite, which will be basically the same color as the benches? So the Vietnam Veterans Memorial will be the same color as these memorials, or these benches. We know that the Korean War Memorial is going to be the red. What color was that again? I'm sorry, I keep.
India red.
India red.
Yeah.
Or do we want to have the gem mist? Sorry, let me get the wording better. The gem mist, which will be the black with the white. And with the Korean War Memorial being the India red, if the Vietnam Memorial was this gray, was this gem mist, or even the honed black, the lettering will be white, which is different from all the other monuments. Or do we want to have it the bar granite, which will match the benches? And for a lesser, and also the World War II monument, because that's also, is that bar granite as well, or is that, yeah. And that will match the bar granite. So, open for discussion. John, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Nope, I'm ready to vote.
Andrew, do you have anything you'd like to add, thoughts?
Yeah, I feel that the bar granite is more harmonious with the general look and feel of the park.
Okay.
And I think it's also, has a certain elegance, and it's very, the contrast is really the best contrast, I think, of, similar to the benches, is, I think, more attractive.
Okay.
Take a chance, make the motion.
Make a motion, Andrew.
Thanks, John. I make a motion that we vote in favor of the bar granite material for the Vietnam Memorial.
Second.
Hold on.
I've got a hand up here.
Hold on a sec, Brian. Yes, Brian.
Thank you. As a point of order or question before you vote, can I just get an idea for our 501, the cost difference of these three granites, given the footing? And then just to comment, since we're up to 144 names, just to make sure the contrast will work.
Well, then in talking with Tom today at the shop, once he's got those names and everything, he can lay it out on the computer and then figure out how everything is laid out, but I don't speak.
All right, as far as pricing of the granite, this might be the one time where we got lucky, because since we started discussing this, there's been 2 price increases and tariffs. So since we're not bringing in granite from overseas, it kind of catches up. The Barry granite is local, so, price-wise, these 3 were, probably the gem mist would have been the most expensive. And then the honed black and the Barry are probably pretty close. So, as far as pricing goes, it's probably the lesser of the 3.
Okay.
It also helps with timelines and things like that. And then we can, when design comes into play, we can use a combination of polished versus unpolished to kind of create some character in it as well.
Okay.
And to reduce the porousness, and we talked about, what's the best scenario to keep it clean, or to the lichens and the moss growth. So we kind of covered that too.
Okay. All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote by roll call. John Fuller,
I, John Fuller.
Andrew Delory?
I, Andrew Delory.
Aye, Kevin Higgins. Okay. Now, that was hurdle 1. Hurdle 2 is going to be the actual monument design itself. I don't have the images up there per se, but we've all seen these images. These have been bantered around quite a bit. Actually, I do have that one image. Have those up. Oops. Now I lost it. Peggy, I'm sorry, I lost that, that page for me to pull the images up.
It's right there on the desktop. Should be towards the right. It should say VetCom Pictures.
Got it. So Andrew has provided some images in the past that have been fine-tuned and discussed quite a bit. I wish I could bring it. Basically, that is the design itself. Tom has made some modifications to make the design itself work, and I don't want to speak to Tom, but speak for Tom, but Tom can explain a little bit. The thought process was, is it 6-inch granite? If we're using the Bear, how do you pronounce it? Barry granite. The Barry granite, the meeting joints and everything, which were a bit of a challenge in the past, he has found a workaround, say workaround, but a way to strengthen the monument itself. And why don't you go ahead and talk, and I can blow it up in regards to the base.
Yeah, I guess based on Andrew's original artwork, the difficulties were in the installation process and the joints. Having two 1,200-piece pieces of granite meeting on a well-poured but rustic cement foundation is a very difficult task. And then coupling it with a large piece in the center and getting that to be perfectly flat and getting the seams and everything to match up. So through discussion and looking into what other people have done in the past and talking to people I work with, if we put another base, which none of the examples ever showed, if we put a base under that, that will guarantee that everything is level, so that when the pieces are cut, I'm sure that they'll match up. I'm sure that they will match up and take a little bit of stress out of the installation process. Also bringing two pieces of granite together, that size, the fear of chipping is always there. The fear of the top being to the 16th of an inch perfect is, it's always going to be a challenge. So we decided to, at the joints in the top, or we didn't decide, but my recommendation would be that we kind of pencil around the edges so that it's not a direct point. It's more of the two pieces coming together. I guess if you put your knuckles together, you see you have that little V, that little rounded groove. And that'll take some of the pain away too, when you go into joint these things. So I think if we put the base, just to guarantee that it's a flat surface, and then also will raise and enhance this project as well as give space for trinkets, for mementos, for what have you. Then I feel a lot more comfortable. Also, we're going to use a thicker piece of granite. So I'm recommending 8 inches to 10 inches thick, so, because the pieces are big, and you just, once we set them, that's it. So I feel more comfortable now doing it in this manner.
I could
as
certainly
far
see a
as-
lot of pennies and quarters and flowers on that shelf, on that base.
So that was, yes, Andrew.
Tom, how wide can the base proposed here, can that be wider than the existing 10-foot wide
Yeah,
concrete?
that can be wider because all of the weight is on the center, and those foundations are massive.
Right.
So even if, when we do the calculations with the increase of names,
Right.
if we have to have a slightly larger spans, we can do that. You know, even if there's an overhang with stone dust or something like that, it's not going to harm the integrity of the granite and the pieces.
Yes, John?
I would suggest, you're gonna put the word Vietnam at the bottom on a,
Yeah, well, if you want to show them both of them, I mean, you have to look at both or one or what have you. That one shows the Vietnam.
On the, what I describe as the wedge in the middle, I wish you could,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'll deal with the sizing on that,
right.
you know, from the original specs. It's gonna have to be a little smaller, a little lower, but, you know, again, it's based on the names and
The idea was that the small V at the base echoes the larger V. You sort of emphasize the V graphic. And that we also discussed, another perhaps challenge will be to place maybe the years, the beginning and the end of the campaign, conflict rather, and and where to put Vietnam. That's kind of where we left it off, our discussion
A
today.
lot of that, I think we almost have to work backwards and start with the names.
Mhm.
Once we get a feel for that, say, okay, this is what we're dealing with, and, you know, there's a couple of schools of thought. Kevin, that little scruffy area, we could angle the base, we could put something there. If you have soldiers or people who passed during the conflict, maybe their names go on that center wedge versus those who left and came home. So you have a couple of different thought process, but the big thing is to kind of get the shape, the design in forward progress.
In one of Andrew's drawings, he's got Vietnam here, and then he's got 1965 to 1973, 75.
Yeah,
You have the ends of the stone, you have a lot of different places you could.
We
Right.
put those years on the bevel in the front underneath the Vietnam, because as
Right.
John brought up earlier,
we're gonna need that space for names.
right. Yeah, we
So
agree
if
on
we
that.
were to put the 65 to 73 here, most Vietnam veterans don't care how long it was. They just remember the time they were there.
Right, right.
and
Yeah, we have the ends, both of those ends are coming out. I mean, that could be something of interest on the sides, you know. We have the front, we have different,
There's a lot more names than used to be, and that's something to
1,778
consider.
names, letters.
the letters, yeah. John had a good point earlier when, with the year 1965 to 1973 or 75, 75 is when it ended.
Yeah, the assessment of when the conflict officially began, the boots were on the ground in 1965. There were advisors there previous to that date. And 1973 is considered after all ground troops were withdrawn. But I'm still looking into the accurate dates.
But John's point was, with the years on this wing and the
Yeah.
years on this wing, it looked like 1965, they were here, 1975 were on this wing, whereas if we put the
Yeah.
years directly
Yeah.
underneath Vietnam, it'll show, it makes more sense, it makes it flow a little bit better.
I like the Vietnam in front and center in the center triangle.
I'm sorry, Russ, did you have your hand up?
Just a real quick question, and it's great discussion. Maybe question, Tom, I understand pouring like a leveling course, you said, underneath the monument. And the question is, just for the color of that, is that translucent or?
Well,
would we look-
it's actually gonna be a granite base similar to all the other bases we've done on the other stones.
On top of the foundation?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
I
And it's
thought,
all
I
the
thought
same.
about that, but I thought about, I just don't know how long it's gonna last, especially being horizontal in the elements. I don't know of any materials that I could float that I would feel comfortable knowing they're gonna last the test of time, only because I just don't know.
No, and I'm in full agreement with, if you put another stone down, just as long as I understand they're all the same color that was just previously voted
Okay,
on.
yeah. Now,
Yep.
if you went with the black, I would say, no, let's use a gray base, but since we're going with the gray,
Well-
then you go with the gray base.
Yeah, so it's all continuous.
Yes,
That was
yeah.
all.
Very good.
Okay.
Well, I would support basically this model with the dates moved down below the
And
Vietnam,
with the addition of the base.
with the addition of the base.
Okay.
But getting back, I don't want to get off track on this, but getting back to Brian's question, is there a estimate about what this might cost?
Not right now.
Okay, thank
It's,
you.
again, we have to work backwards with the names because, and Brian's been very helpful, he's creating some imagery, et cetera, but you 5/8 of an inch is about as small as you can go lettering, you can't go any smaller.
Mhm.
And so, based on the space we have, and that'll bring us up, once you sign off on this, then the next thing we have to discuss is, do we want the names in columns, or do we want continuous? So, and based on that, we'll determine a lot of the size, if we need to expand it, or if we can keep it,
Excellent.
or what the
Thank you.
slope will be. So much of it is working backwards.
Yeah. Russ, just so you are aware, I know you weren't part of the conversation earlier, but on the Vietnam Memorial, similar to the Korean War Memorial, we had individual columns with names. The discussion came up through Tom to, instead of having columns, have the names just start running left to right, going across with perhaps what would you put, a dot in between the names to signify?
Yeah, you can do dot, you can do spacing, you can,
By doing that, it does provide us a little bit more area to work with. The columns end up eating up a lot of real estate, which, even though the monument is pretty good size, now that we've discovered we've got additional names, we kind of have to be judicious in regards to how they're laid out, so. But that's something we can,
average letter length is 12.16 characters, but you have some with 18, 19, so sometimes that makes it tough in a column.
now, and again, this is a discussion for further down, but just so I can bring it up now, would they be alphabetical if it was continuous, or would you make them random?
However you send them to me.
Okay. All right.
But
well,
yeah, I mean, it would, with the Korean, I mean, you've done such a good job vetting. Like Korean, I'm a little more confident. There's a lot more Vietnam survivors, so as long as we have a space to add if we need to. But you've done a great job at finding and someone might turn up, but even like when we did the Truro one, I don't think I've added more than 3 names over
yeah.
16 years.
Well, I have to thank the 501c3 for all your hard work in regards to vetting out the names and bringing them forward.
So hopefully that's it, but I mean, there'll be space for a few more names, but, so you feel a little more comfortable going alphabetical, especially if it's continuous, it'll make it easier for people to find names.
Yeah. Okay. Brian,
I
did
think
you have a
that's up
question?
to you.
Yeah, I just want, like, a couple questions, if you don't mind. This design, like, the design I thought that we were working off had, I guess, for lack of a better word, a buttress in the middle. There were 3 pieces. And this piece here, where you call it the triangle or the wedge, is that, I don't know the dimension of that. I mean, how high is that? How thick is that?
Well,
And that's wide, is that a supporting piece versus the? buttress in the middle, that I'd seen before.
I would suggest it's the title piece in the center that's slightly angled so people could easily, I mean, that would be the,
More of a decorative piece, but also gives a little bit of
it
strength
is,
to
it
the
is the
memorial
title of
itself.
the monument.
Is it step height? Like how?
Well, that would depend on how the names get laid out on the wings. As Tom mentioned a few minutes ago, the size of that triangular piece in the middle will be incumbent upon how the names are laid out.
So, well, two things about I just want to comment about the layout. So structurally, obviously I can table that for a second, but first of all, when you talk about the years, I think with 144 names now that we have, my comment would be that you need as much space on the bottom as possible to stretch that and lay it out. So when you talk about the years of the campaign, if that's off the wings and something in the front or even the corners, as you approach it to the left corner or the right corner. But I'm just proposing that you need all the space on the bottom as you work your way up, because I know how those names will kind of stretch out. The other is just a comment about, we've had a lot of discussion about alphabetical versus mixing them up. Personal view here would be, when we had 70 names, maybe that was interesting to mix them up. But I think with 145 names, it's going to be impossible to find that family's name or your name. And since I don't know how that wedge looks, is that something you wouldn't walk on it, obviously. But I just think that alphabetical is a better way to go, and if the left half is, A to H and the rest is I to Z, I just think that's a lot easier. And if somebody comes along and says, you missed one, I just say, well, figure it out.
Well,
I don't know, it's just an alphabetical
yep, point taken, but I think that's a discussion for a later time, once we actually get, once Tom's got his dimensions and everything in place and can overlay the names, we'll have an idea of how much room we've got.
Chair?
And, yes.
Sorry, I think Tom's suggestion of working backwards makes a lot of sense. I don't believe that the wedge or the centerpiece needs to take up much namespace. But I think that could be, depending on the ease of reading the names at minimum of 3/8 of an inch, I think.
5/8.
Again, 5/8, excuse me, did I say 3? Right. I think that makes a lot of sense to work backwards from the names, so we be sure, because that is the essence of the monument, the memorial.
Right. All right. I think if there's any other discussion, Russ, do you have anything you'd like to add from an engineer's point of view?
I think it looks great, and I'm glad we've landed on a design. So I think when it's all said and done, you're going to be very proud of it.
I agree. We have a motion to accept.
Chair?
Sorry, Brian?
Can we have, Brian, can you be on the mic, please?
Yeah,
So we
can you come
have
up to the mic?
Yeah, please, so everyone can hear you.
It doesn't matter.
Two mics.
Yeah, well, just from our perspective, I just had the question, has your committee voted to engage Crosby Monument to produce and fabricate the monument?
Yes.
In terms of, okay, just to proceed and do deposits and kind of engage, okay, just.
Yep. He's the only game in town right now.
Well, we're about well vested.
Yep.
Let's see if we can word this correctly.
Motion.
I'll try it.
Whisper in your ear.
I don't know how to say it though, because here it is. I would like to move that we,
John, what you could say is Andrew's design, and I think he's got it numbered there, so we'll put that into record.
Yeah, we could say that it was based on this. It's the precise dimensions, Tom, you probably would agree. The precise dimensions to be determined, correct?
Yes,
Right,
but
because
based
it
on a
name
12
layout.
by 3 foot span at this point,
Right, thanks.
minimal.
Well, I would move we go with the general B2
Concept?
concept with the Vietnam in the middle, with the dates of the conflict on the front of the Vietnam triangle, and a base underneath.
Okay, just to clarify, the dates are gonna actually go on the base, not on the triangle. Is that what I think we're looking at?
On the front of the triangle.
John, there's going to be another, about how tall, how high would that base be, do you think, Tom?
Because of the mass of the base, it's probably got to be 8 inches, just.
8 inches high, so,
Which will be the same as Korea, which will be the same as,
right.
This being the base, Vietnam would be here.
Right.
And then on the base, we could have on the bevel.
No, that's not what I'm proposing.
Yeah.
I'm
Dates on the
proposing the dates on
Okay.
the front of the word Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
I think-
to respond, if I may,
Well-
we could hold off on where the dates go
yeah,
and get the general shape. And then, once we get the general shape in play, I can put in the names to see, and then come back and say, okay, this is where the names are gonna go. This is the space that we have for dates, for wording, for anything else you wanna put on.
I will
I think
amend
the
my
blank
motion to what
canvas.
Tom said.
Okay,
And since we have it on disc or tape, we can
Yeah,
make sure we get that the way we want it.
okay.
exactly.
So that's my motion.
The motion on the table is Andrew Delorey's design, which is B2 concept, with the triangle in the front that says Vietnam, possibly the dates to go below it, but to be determined. The idea is the basic V formation on a base and move forward from there. So that's the
That's
motion. Second?
second.
Or, okay, discussion? Hearing no discussion? All those favor signify, I'm sorry, did you have any?
You don't want to talk about dates right now, but why don't you put them on each end? You got that
Yeah, that's,
next
that's,
base,
and it's gonna come out at an angle.
1965, 1973, from left to right.
Yeah, that's what they have, but it takes up too much space.
I'm talking about the end of
No,
the
I'm talking about
stone.
the end piece,
Yeah,
very
Oh,
end
put
piece,
your
right,
feet right in
right
there.
there.
not a bad idea.
And that won't,
I hadn't thought of that.
Well, we'll-
Yeah,
As Tom said, he can decide that once he gets the layout of the names.
Yeah.
Because I guess the layout of the names is the critical thing
That's
from there.
exactly right. Yeah.
Okay, just to reiterate the motion, it's Andrew Delorey's drawing B2 concept, V formation with a wing in the, triangle in the front with the word Vietnam, dates to be applied at some point in time to be determined. It's been seconded, we've had discussion, all those in favor signify,
And it's on a base.
it's on a base. All those in favor signify by saying aye by roll call, John Fuller,
Aye, John Fuller?
I, Andrew Delorey.
and aye, Kevin Higgins. Okay. Phew. That only took 2 years. Okay, now I'll move back to my spot. I think the next item on the agenda should be relatively quick. It's to talk about upcoming fundraisers. Upcoming fundraisers through the 501c3. The one that's coming up the soonest is a rededication for the World War II monument, which is on June 6th. Remind me again, the family member that donated the original,
Her name was Nancy Johnson, Johnson family. So it was her grandfather donated and dedicated the original monument 75 years ago. This is the 82nd anniversary of D-Day. She's still here in Orleans with her husband. I did get in touch with her, and she would like to attend. She's very happy there's a place to sit down. And there are some other families who have, in town, who have, ties to World War II, either on the original monument or on bricks. And, as we've got flyers or ads, I think, it'd be nice to come. I didn't have a specific, I guess, agenda, formal agenda, like, you do for your.
Yeah, why don't you, yeah, go ahead and speak to the microphone.
One short, this started just because it was the anniversary of the dedication of that memorial, the World War II memorial, and June 6th is D-Day. It's a Saturday. We thought, what a nice way to maybe have an open house in the park with nicer weather. Family's still here, school's around, just to have what I'll call more fun and make it family friendly, and have some events in the park with it. So we have a musician who's played in the park before, Natalia Bonfini has agreed to play. We have the ice cream cart from the Ice Cream Cafe. We'll do some kind of a scavenger hunt, kind of focusing on D-Day in Normandy. We also have we found that there are about 10 bricks in the park that will say either D-Day or Normandy on them, which was just kind of part of the vibe, if you will. But, several families would like to be there. I didn't have any, per se, program speaker in mind, other than to maybe whether we did a ribbon. I kind of leave it to your discretion and your involvement to whatever you want to do. I just viewed it as an open house, kick off the park. People haven't seen it. Whether it's Find Your Brick, kind of a celebration, if you will, of the park. Just another reason to bring people in.
Okay. With the 501c3's desire to push, to have this rededication, does our committee want to have anything? Do we want to, there's really nothing more than we can do other than just assist with anything that goes on at the goes on at the rededication.
Well, it might be nice if we were present, if somebody had a question or two, but I don't think we're directly involved in that.
Right.
And I don't think we are supposed to be directly
No.
involved with that.
No, but we can participate in assisting the 501c3 for information and stuff.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I could assist you with, maybe we could come up with the same type of ribbon that we did for the opening of the park that Cecil did, red, white, and blue. We can ring the park. It would,
Perhaps that remaining family member would like to cut it.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Great idea. What was I going to say? Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and we could, I know, perhaps we can reach out to Agway and find out about the plantings around the World War II, because right now it's still kind of unfinished. I know that there's still some work to be done. Dave Hawk wants to meet with our committee and do a walk around before there's any kind of a final sign-off in regards to the construction and plantings, et cetera. I know there's an irrigation thing that's got to go. There's a drip water that goes around the World War II. We did have some die-off over the winter for plantings, which Agway has agreed to replace. Is that correct? Have you spoken to them at all, or?
I have. We knew we had a punch list that we'd see which plants, took or had to be, redone. And then there was a bed that didn't have time to complete. So in terms of the timing for that, we knew that wasn't going to happen before Memorial Day. So, hopefully we can address it soon.
Perhaps we can ask, because I know Prince Landscaping did the actual stuff there. Maybe we can ask them to do some plantings around the World War II prior to June 6th.
Right.
Yes, John?
I do want to straighten out the lighting of flag.
Yeah.
They improved it, but it really needs to be an LED and on a timer that's controlled by the sun.
Yeah.
Um,
I know that,
'Cause it's on all the time now, and I don't know what the town's paying for a light bill for that.
well, it's good. That light that's on it is an LED, but it is on all the time. It's not on a timer. And I'll defer to Russ. I know that there was a few punch list items. Do you recall anything electrical? I know that there are a few electrical items that'll go in after the memorials are in place, but Was there any unfinished punch list items from the electrical side?
No, we checked all the pull boxes and made sure the lids were flush. There was nothing torqued so they could be accessed, and that there was pull cords installed in all the spare conduits. But maybe if there's, a question about the lighting of the flagpole, we can reach out. I think it was Ricard Electric,
Yes.
or if they have some suggestions there for a better light there.
Yeah, I think it was some discussion about uplighting, and that's the only place in town that has the uplighting that's allowed is at the American flag. But I know we had talked about having some lights at the base. I just didn't know if it was in the actual plan or not.
No, we didn't include, just because without having, like the final monuments and where they go with the placement of the lights, that's what the additional conduits were for. So when we do have a final selection, we can come after the fact with the monument-specific lighting.
Okay. John?
Because I do know there is someone interested in contributing towards improving that lighting and having it controlled by the sun of when it comes on and goes off. Because one of the reasons it's one of the first places that was voted by Congress to allow a flag to fly all night as long as it was lighted.
Right.
Now, people just do it now whether it's lighted or not, but there was actually permission given to have that, as long as it was lighted, to be lighted all night.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check with Calvin and see if there was any discussion between Ricard. I did mention to Calvin that the circuit breaker had tripped for the light on the pole that was there now, but it was determined water had gotten into the socket and caused a short, or caused it to trip. So it was nothing wrong with the wiring or anything. It was just the light itself was not designed to be buried under 18 inches of snow this past winter, apparently. So, but I'll check with Calvin to see if there's any follow-up on that. Okay. And I know that the June 6th event at the park is segued into the evening at the Tap House.
Yeah, different type of venue or setting, but yes, there would be some later that evening, a little different, less kid-friendly, but.
Yeah.
But the park is really hopefully open house, kids, family, let people learn, explore. Hopefully it'll be a nice day.
Brian, is there a start time for the dedication?
Yeah, we did, we set it up as 12 to 2. So whether it's some time to set up, we'll stay after. I mean, we're not, so how long the musician, the food cart, the ice cream cart stays, that we just set it up as 12 to 2.
And then the Tap House, does that have a
That's at night.
specific time, or that's
Yeah, that's
any?
5 to 8, that's in
Okay.
the evening, that's separate. But if there's anything that you want incorporated into the program at the park, whether it's if we do ribbon cutting or get flowers, or if there's someone you want to reach out to make sure they're there, by all means, let us know.
Okay. Anything further in regards to fundraising through the 501c3, or any questions our committee may have of the 501c3? Hearing none, I'm going to set the agenda for June 30th. I'll talk with Tom. Perhaps he will have some designs for us for the boy, that threw me off.
Submarine outside.
Yeah, sonar, we're being pinged. In regards to the bronze plate, a possible final look for that, and also what the Vietnam Memorial. So, okay, that should be it. I'll entertain a motion to close.
Seconded.
So moved.
And seconded.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Russ.
Good night.
Take care. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi, John Fuller.
I, Andrew Delory.
And I, Kevin Higgins.